All right, Paddy The Baddy Pimblett, he's back in the news. He is making headlines, and he's talking a lot of crap about his former opponent, Jared Gordon. Listen, we know the story. We know what happened. Paddy went out there, thought he was going to steamroll him, smoke him, walk through him, make it look easy. But that's not what happened, okay? He won a decision, okay? But it was a very controversial decision. People in the building that night, they were kind of booing and all the rest of it. Paddy said that it was an easy fight and wanted fight of the night and all the rest of it. But listen, none of that matters, okay? It was a close fight, a very close fight. And it could have gone either way. I'm not here to crap on Paddy's career or anything like that. It could have gone either way. It was one of those fights. And in the heat of the moment, listen, you get carried away. You know, you've got adrenaline running through your mind. But you know, we've talked about this. This is old news. Just giving a little bit of context, a little backstory. Paddy hasn't fought recently. You know, there was rumours of him fighting in March, but he had to have surgery on his ankle. And he just did that. He just had surgery on his ankle. And when he came round from the medication, he had some nasty things to say about Jared Gordon because, listen, I get it. It's on his mind. It's doing his head in. He feels disrespected. He feels the lack of love from the community, if you will, you know, because everyone was kissing his backside before and now people have kind of turned on him and it's hard to accept. Anyway, he's come round from the medication and he's had this to say.
He said, you should have just sat on your stool and never carried on fighting. I was like, are you mad? Do you think I'm some pussy? People like, oh, Jared Gordon did so well. He only done well because my ankle was stupid s**t. And he's just being a bitter little girl, going on every interview site. Oh, I won that fight. Well, lad, Joe Selecki beat you, but you got a split decision, so shut your mouth.
Would you run it back, then?
Yeah, I'm going to punch his head in towards the end of the year. I am going to run it back. I hope he beats Bobby Green, because I'll snap his arm for him in a round. I had a boxing match with him and I still won, because you're shit. I hope he watches this. You're fucking dog shit. At my worst, you couldn't beat me at your best. Injured. Everything going wrong, you couldn't beat me on my worst day and I beat you on your best because you're a little bum.
All right, listen, there we go. There's Paddy The Baddy. And that's kind of hilarious because he's just had surgery, okay? Said in the video, that's his 4th surgery so far. I've had many surgeries, many surgeries. And when you first come round, you are off your tits, off your bean, off your cake, off your barnet, round the bend, off the twist, whatever you want to call it. You're on whatever the hell it is that they give you because you're on cloud 9, okay? And he was going at Jared Gordon there. Obviously, on his YouTube channel, the guy filming was asking questions about him and he got a little riled up. He got a little fired up. And rightly so. Listen, I understand it. I understand exactly what he's going through. I had a similar situation, you know, a long time ago now because I'm an old man, 44 these days. When I was coming out, I won the Ultimate Fighter, had a few big wins, I had a massive following in the UK, fought Matt Hamill in London at UFC 75. Very close fight. I got my backside whooped in round 1. Rounds 2 and 3 were very close and I managed to scrape by a decision. And I didn't handle it right.
Who's the real winner of the Ultimate Fighter? The same one it always has been. Back to wrestling.
You know, because in my mind, I thought I was going to smoke him, just like Paddy did. And it was a really close fight, a tough fight that a lot of people thought that Matt Hamill won, just like what happened in the Paddy situation. And it is eating away at his soul, okay? And we can clearly see that because he's come round from surgery and the first thing he's talking about is going after Jared Gordon. Now, some people will say, well done to Paddy, fair play, because he wants to run that one back and he wants to get a legitimate, solid win. Risky business. You know, it was a close fight and Jared Gordon, I'll say, in my mind, he won that fight. But it was a close one. It was a close one. I'm not a judge and I get things wrong a lot. But haters will say, well, he's stalling. Haters will say, well, he wants to fight Jared Gordon because he doesn't want to fight Drew Dober. I see that around a lot. There's never been talk of a Drew Dober fight. I had Drew Dober on my podcast. I asked him directly about it. He said, no, Paddy Pimblett has never been offered to me. So just forget about that one right now. But in the top 15 of the lightweight division, there is nothing but killers. And haters will say, well, he doesn't want to fight them. He wants to fight Jared Gordon. And maybe that's true. I don't know. But we do know Paddy. Listen, mate. Everyone, listen, ladies and gentlemen, mate, everyone watching this, people that fight in the UFC aren't scared of fighting another person. That's just the reality. That is what they do. That is their job. That is their profession, their trade. Yes, granted, they can look at people and recognize a bad matchup. But to say that someone's scared, that's just not the case. We're not scared. We're not scared of losing fights because we're going to get hurt, right? We're not scared of losing a fight because we're going to get embarrassed or beat up or hurt, as I say. We're scared because, you know, we're nervous, better word, nervous. We're nervous because of the consequences and the embarrassment, and you're nervous of failing at your mission. Now, listen, Paddy wants to be the champion of the world one day. So he's going to have to step up and fight those people eventually, okay? And if he runs it back with Jared Gordon, which I think a lot of people would like to see, and I think the UFC might possibly make it. The UFC actually offered me a rematch against Matt Hamill after that fight. It was a close one, and I think the UFC were like, that was close, Mike. Maybe you should do that again. But I actually ended up fighting Rashad Evans, Sugar Rashad, future champion Rashad, and I took him to a split decision. I lost that fight, and then I went back down to 185. The reason I did that was because on that day, when Rashad Evans was cutting weight and killing himself in a sauna, I was sitting in a Chinese restaurant eating noodles and drinking 7-Up. And when I lost that fight, I analysed it. I thought, right, well, what can I do to ensure that I don't lose again? Well, you know, maybe I'm not in the right weight class because I never have to cut weight. So I started doing that, and I actually regret doing that. So yeah, anyway, giving my, you know, similar kind of story that I went through to what Paddy's been through. Listen, Paddy's not scared. Okay, Paddy's going to be recovering now for a few months. It's his 4th surgery. Apparently, there was some damage to a few ligaments. They've repaired them. He's going to come back even stronger. And Jared Gordon, he will love to run that one back. I had him on the podcast. He talked about it. He said he would love to run it back. Would you like to see that, though? Do you want to see that fight again? Or do you just want to see it all move on? You know, Jared Gordon is a tremendous fighter. He's got a hell of a story. But there's a lot of bigger fights for Paddy. You know, Paddy beat him, you know, regardless of what you want to say. Maybe he should just move on. But what do you think? And what do you think the UFC are going to do? I have no idea. But I haven't heard of any matchups simply because Paddy has been injured. And, yeah, he can't fight anyone right now because he's injured. He's had surgery. It's going to be a few months. UFC London, July 22nd. I would like to see him on that, but there's no chance. We're in March, April, May, June, July. It's 4 months away. It's going to be a while before he's at full speed. Might be International Fight Week. International Fight Week, perhaps the rematch with Jared Gordon or somebody else, even a Drew Dober or even a Bobby Green, even though Bobby Green is fighting Jared Gordon. And he said that that's his retirement fight. So there it is. Also, we got to see on that YouTube video that Paddy likes to pee sitting down. I do that as well. Oh, he was sitting there. He was literally sitting there with his pants down around his ankles, taking a pee, being filmed on his YouTube channel, saying, no, I like to pee sitting down because sometimes the pee goes everywhere. And it does. Sometimes I pee and you get 2 separate jets and it's a nightmare. Anyway, Paddy, I feel your pain, bro. Hope you're all well. Subscribe and ring the bell if you haven't done so already. And let me know your thoughts on that whole Paddy situation. Take care. Bye-bye.